Muslims, and more particularly the Shias, have answered this call with the unique institution of Azadari Hussain. With every tear that we shed for him, we pledge to resist the oppression of injustice, immorality, inequity, and falsehood. Every time we raise our hand and bring it down on our chest in Martyrdom, we are saying, Labbaik, Labbaik ya Mawla, to our Imam, Imam Hussain ibn Ali, the grandson of the Holy Prophet. For long, the word Azadari Hussain has been exclusively used in connection with the remembrance ceremonies for the martyrdom of Imam Hussain. Azadari Hussain includes mourning congregations, lamentations, martyrdom, and all such actions which express the emotions of grief, anger, and above all, repulsion against what Yazid stood for. These emotions, however, remain futile and hypocritical unless accompanied by a will to reform both at the individual level and the community level. The term majlis has both a grammatical meaning and a meaning which relates to Azadari Hussain. In its technical sense, a majlis is a meeting, a session, or a gathering. But in reference to Azadari Hussain, it means a gathering to mourn Imam Hussain. In this sense, it was first used by a sixth Imam, Imam Jaffer Sadiq. It is reported that his companion, Al-Fazl, came to pay his respects to the holy Imam. After the exchange of usual courtesies, Imam asked Al-Fazl, "Do you people ever organize majalis to recall the martyrdom of Imam Hussain?" Al-Fazl, with tears pouring down his eyes, replied, "Yamna Rasulullah, indeed we do." The Imam said, "May Allah bless you. I highly approve of such majalis." On another occasion, the poet Ja'far ibn Affan recited to our Imam, Imam Sadiq, a poem on the tragedy of Karbala. The Imam began to weep uncontrollably. He then addressed the poet in the following terms: "O Affan, do not think that it is only those whom you can see here who are listening to your poetry. In fact, Allah's closest angels are present here at this majlis, and they are all listening to your recitation, and they too lament and weep. May Allah bless you for what you have recited. He will inshallah reward you with paradise for your efforts on our behalf." Azadari Hussain was a phenomenon which gripped the Muslim conscience immediately after the tragedy of Karbala. The first majlis of Imam Hussain was recited in the marketplace of Kufa by a lady from whose head her veil had been ripped off, whose hopes and aspirations had been destroyed on the blood-drenched sands of Karbala, but whose indomitable spirit stepped forward to free the Islamic values from the yoke of tyranny and oppression. She was the first one to answer the call of Imam Hussain. Standing on her unsaddled camel, she looked at the multitude rejoicing at the victory of Yazid. But as soon as people saw her, they were quiet, because they knew that a historic moment for Kufa had arrived. Looking straight at them, the daughter of Ali, Hazrat Zainab, said, "Woe upon you, O people of Kufa! Do you realize which piece of Muhammad's heart you have severed, which pledge you have broken, whose blood you have shed, whose honor you have desecrated? It is not just Imam Hussain, whose headless body lies unburied on the sands of Karbala. It is the heart of the Holy Prophet himself. It is the very soul of Islam." The first majlis touched and moved the people of Kufa so deeply as to give rise to both the Tawwabun movement and Mukhtar's quest for vengeance. 10 days after Ashura, a messenger from Yazid arrived in Medina. His name was Abdul Malik ibn Abi Harith al-Sulaimi. he came to tell the governor that Hussein ibn Ali had been killed in Karbala. The governor, more conscious of the mood of the people, said that he himself could not make the news public, but Abdul Malik, if he so wished, could make the public an announcement. Abdul Malik announced the news after the morning prayers. There was such intense weeping and wailing from the homes of Banu Hashim that the very walls of the masjid began to tremble. Marwan ibn Hakam reports that every afternoon men and women would gather at Jannatul Waqi, and there would be remembrance of the tragedy of Karbala, and the weeping and wailing could be heard miles away. When the prisoners were finally freed by Yazid, they asked for an opportunity to have rites of remembrance in Damascus. A house was made available to them, and Azai Hussein went on for over a week. Just as Hazrat Musa had been raised in the palace of the enemy of Allah, Fir'aun, Bibi Zainab laid the foundation of Azai Hussein in the very capital of his murderer. On their return to Medina, Bibi Zainab took over the leadership of Azai Hussein in the city of the Holy Prophet. This aroused such strong emotions in the people and such revulsion against the oppressor that the governor of Medina wrote to Yazid to have Bibi Zainab exiled from Medina. This was done in the beginning of 62 AH. Bibi Zainab died shortly afterwards.